What's going on, Spitfires? Welcome back to another episode of the Spitfire podcast. I'm your host, Lauren LeMunyan, the Spitfire coach, coming to you with an amazing guest. That's right, no more ranting and raving from me. So sorry. Maybe next time. But today we are going so deep in geeking out on creativity. I'm so excited. My guest is Paige Williams, and she's a transformational coach, award-winning filmmaker, and founder of AudPop, a global platform that's connected 80,000 creators with brands like Dell, Hilton, and Southwest, awarding $10 million to filmmakers. She's the author of The 12 Creative Keys, a framework helping leaders grow with courage, clarity, and aligned action without burning out. Paige, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here and to talk today.
I'm so glad, number one, that you use an M dash in your bio.
Thank you very much. I've
I'm
been
assuming you're
using
pro
dashes
M
since
dash. Are you?
1990. It's ish. I used to be, but now I'm kind of like getting away from it so that people know it's really me.
It's so you. I get it. I know I do the same thing. I'm like, let me put a comma in, even though I totally
I
use
know.
ChatGPT.
I'm like, I've been using M dashes since I was writing papers in the 90s, but
My
whatever.
journal, my journal is filled with M dashes because I'm like,
Yeah.
insert thought, insert thought.
Yeah. And I'm really a bullet point writer too. So,
Amazing. Me too. We're very aligned. All right. Well, we're gonna have a
oh,
very bullety M dashy type of con.
great. Let's do it. We'll
Um,
leave out all the words.
let's just go syncopated thought. Shiny, shiny, shiny. All right. So I have to ask you, how do you define creativity?
Oof. I think that creativity is inherent in all of us, and it is the piece of us that is meant for us that makes us unique.
Hmm. Do you believe that every person is creative?
100%.
Hmm. What about copycats?
They had to do something to copy.
Mm. Oh,
So,
okay.
like a tree is a tree, right?
Hmm.
But the human consciousness is what allows creativity. It is what the distinction of who we are.
All right, mind is blown in 30 seconds within. Okay, we're gonna piece this out. So, if every person has creativity within them,
Mhm.
what allows us to actualize or realize that we are?
Mm. So, I believe that creativity is spirituality
Okay.
and that spirituality is creative.
Tell me more.
And so the deeper in alignment we are with our spiritual selves and what makes us us, what makes me Paige and you Lauren, then the more we are able to tap into that creative spark.
Mm, okay. When did
Because the
you
soul spark is creative.
Soul spark is creative. So when did you first feel that soul spark?
Ooh. I think from the very beginning of my life that I can remember, I was playing, right? We are born playing,
Hmm.
moving and experiencing the world, which experience is a creative act, our senses. And then how we express that as we play is a creative act. So in the sandbox, playing with dolls, making up games with our Legos, with our little whatever we were playing with as a child,
Hmm.
that was all creativity in its earliest form as humans. And then it grows, right? And we're
Hmm.
coloring and we're painting and we're doing whatever, even if we're playing a game it is a creative act and then it grows as we grow and then we can come in and out of consciousness about it, but every child loves to play and play is
Hmm.
creativity.
Hmm. I'm just thinking about my 14-month-old. She just started walking like 2 weeks ago. And so she loves to put things in things and carry them to places, all while like having this full-on conversation with herself. And I'm like, that just looks like the most magical experience. And I would love to just be in her head right now.
Yeah, yeah, we come out that way.
So good.
We forget or we get taught that it's a bad thing or it's not us, and creativity might be more in alignment, like might be more categorized as artistic.
Hmm.
And so if we're not a good drawer, then we might not think of ourselves as creative, but we are.
Mm. That's such a clear distinction. So I have a very talented brother. Um, don't care for him as an individual, super talented as an artist. But he always told me, you're not an artist because you can't do what I do. And I'm like, but I'm a creator and I'm creative. And I won in third grade a poster contest. We had a thing called Shad Fest, and I had this idea to make pop-up shad underneath the surface with people fishing with like tissue paper that I had painted, and I won.
Ooh, he was so mad.
So mad. I think he's still holding
Too mad.
vendetta around pop up shad. Um, so this whole like we're trained out of it or we forget it. I think it's probably more of the first part. We're trained out of it. Who benefits by us being trained out of being creative?
Well, I'm not sure that it's a conscious level to train us out of creativity, but I think in our culture we value um, other learning or other intelligence higher than that in order to supposedly support ourselves financially one day.
Really to be a cog in the
So,
machine.
yeah, right. And like school is built around that,
Hmm.
you know, math, science, English, like government, the things you have to have to graduate in order to go to the next box. And of course, we have art classes and music classes and creative classes and theater, but we know that that's supplement in our school system and
Hmm.
it's not valued as high as math. But I would say math is creative as well. Like, I'm not saying that. It's just how we approach teaching and learning.
Mm.
So, when we think about our favorite teachers in our lives, I bet if you think about the core value system and how they taught, they are our favorite teachers because they were most creative in what they taught
Hmm.
and they were the most fun. And it's not necessarily art class. One of my best teachers was an English teacher.
Mm.
And the reason she was so good was because she creatively taught us English. Another teacher, I'm thinking, he was 19th century England. And oh my God, he could, everything was magical because he could spin a story. And
Mm.
it was like we were learning about the kings and queens, and it was a soap opera, and we were glued to him because storytelling is a creative act, and he was a genius at it.
Mm. So it almost sounds like there's a level of mastery that then can unlock this like adaptation and flexibility in the creation of whatever the delivery is.
Yeah, and I think when we're looking for what is the creative spark in me, we just look to our zones of genius to say, what am I best at? What do I love doing?
Hmm.
And that's where your creative spark lies.
Now I'm just thinking of every naysayer curmudgeon that I know in my life is how do I know what I'm good at? Like I know what I'm good at, but what is this zone of genius stuff? Like I don't have time to be a genius. I'm just here to do my job and take a nap.
I believe that everyone has something that they love to
Mm.
do. And whatever that is, that's your zone of genius.
Even if it's being a
And it might be
curmudgeon.
napping. It might be napping.
Napping is a skill.
Yeah, yeah. So, there's a way to figure that out if you're not sure what your red thread is, as one author calls it. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
like
know
to,
I know Gay Hendricks gets into it
yeah, yeah,
and all that stuff. But yeah, I,
yeah.
I mean, I think there's when we're so inundated in the day to day and the pressures of things, and if we're in these places of scarcity and survival, really, it's really challenging. At least what I've noticed is helping people make that leap into this future self or this future idea of what pleasure looks like. And there's almost like this permission or this guilt and shame that comes through it of like, if I'm enjoying it while they're suffering,
Mm,
is this allowed? Am I okay to do this?
right, right. You just hit so many different things there. I'm like, oh, which one do we go with?
Wherever you want to go.
Whew. Well, one of the reasons I wrote the 12 creative keys is so that people can go inward to find that
Mhm.
and find their spark and find their joy and remember and learn who they are today. And that might look differently than we were 6 months ago or 5 years ago. Um, And so one of the first key is willingness. And so in order to even begin, we have to be willing to start to look
Mm.
for it because the key before willingness is desperation of like something has to change. I'm
Oof.
just living my life day to day and I'm so bored and there's got to be more than this.
Mm.
And so we become willing and then we have to have a little courage, which is key too, to look around and say, okay, maybe I can go find what it is that my soul is calling for me. And usually when we get there, we arrive at key three, which is hope.
Mhm.
And like maybe my life can feel a little bit better and a little more joy. And you said, but do I deserve to feel pleasure? And that's a great question. And the answer is yes, because you're radically loved.
Mhm.
And until you love yourself, how do we love others? And
Mhm.
all change starts with from within. And so if I can be filled with this creative love and light and soul and spark, then I can help others feel the same, which is why we're here, is to feel connected.
Mhm.
And so really what we're doing is we're saying, okay, this can be a fear-led life, or it can be a love-led life. And love and creativity and joy is all in the same vein. And fear and self-pity and procrastination and perfectionism is all in the same bucket. So
Mhm.
it's like, am I choosing to live my life in that bucket? Or do I want to say, no, let me be a light in the world and figure out what this love thing is and say, thank you, fear. I'm going to put you to the side
Mhm.
while I move forward to be all I am meant to be.
Mm. My brain is again going in a million directions, but at the core of this, when we talk about like you were born creative. And so I heard you say the word connection. Like it feels like there's a point where we become disconnected to who we are. And so this sounds like it's a reconnection and getting everything firing together. But it first starts with self-acceptance, because I think you first have to accept yourself before you can love yourself, to truly know what that is. And the point of that is like the healing that comes through the wound of that disconnection.
100%. I love the way you phrase that. That's beautiful.
Don't ask me to repeat it because I don't remember. I'm glad
Good
this is
thing we're
recorded.
recording.
Well, I've been listening a lot. Do you know Elise Lunan?
No.
So she is, I don't even know how to describe her. She is a podcaster, she's an author, but she does this really deep spiritual work. And she has this book that just came out on our best behavior that focuses on the seven deadly sins, but really how they were crafted initially was to be kind of like points of awareness. And then they became reconstructed as like ways to control women. And
Oof.
so, yeah. So, but all of it comes from this disconnection from body. Like my body is bad. What my body does is bad. I need to like be small and contained and all so much to unpack there. But when you can reconnect into who you are and your purpose, and your values and what's important, and that expression is how all of this other I'm going to curse all this other shit that's out there, the expectations and the weight of the world, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that suffering doesn't exist, but it's like what we are here to do is to focus on this and our purpose in bringing joy and connection and love.
100%. And if we're finding that like it's hard to get out of bed in the morning, then something needs to change. And
Yeah.
this change starts from within. And key four is surrender. So like what we have to do is go, okay, what am I holding on to here that I need to let go of so that I can move forward? And
Hmm.
then key five, we look at the stories we're telling ourselves, the limiting beliefs, the things that are holding me back. And then key six is we trust and release that if I retell these stories, if I put a new lens on this, if I say, okay, yesterday I said I'm not a creative person, I don't have a zone of genius, there's nothing I love. And today I say, okay, maybe that's a fake story I've been telling
Hmm.
myself. Then I have to trust and release that something new can come into my life and I can discover a new story about myself.
Mm.
And there's like this inside work of where we recognize I'm telling myself something that is not true. This is my false self. And my
Yeah.
true self is saying, please see me. Please,
Mm.
please, please, please see me. That's why you can't get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
That's why you're not excited about work.
Yeah. Well, I would actually add a component onto that. What you're lying about yourself to is actually not what you've made up, it's what you've absorbed from others that had no business coming in.
Yeah. In the book, I tell the story about like, I always blame my father for for me not going to Tisch to be an actress after, because he said, no daughter of mine's going to New York City to be an actress. And I was like, that's why I'm not.
Uh,
The truth was, I didn't even apply. And years later, when I was like making an amends to him, I was like, you remember when you told me? And he was like, no, I don't remember. But when did you ever do anything I told you?
right.
And he was right.
Like you
So,
listened that one time?
yeah. So I got to let him off the hook and quit telling that story,
Hmm.
rewrite that narrative.
I had a whole thing about my dad where he wouldn't let me mow the lawn because I wasn't strong enough to start it uphill. And I'm like, I didn't even want to mow the lawn. And then I ended up becoming a CrossFit gym owner and coach. I was like, see, I'm strong. He's like, when did I ever tell you you weren't strong?
You just didn't want to mow that yard.
I just did. It was hard work, but I'm like, my brother gets to do it. And I'm like, you get to stay inside in the air conditioning. What are you talking about? But these are the lies that we tell ourselves to
Right.
justify whatever
Is
hesitation we
going
have.
on. Right.
I just did it the other day. So my husband had some health stuff over the summer, and I had convinced myself that I was not allowed to leave the house. I was not allowed to do business development. I was not allowed to work on my business at all because what if someone needed me? And he's like, "I'm back to work and the baby's at daycare. What are you talking about?" I'm like, "But the dog." He's like, "The dog needs to go out too." So now I'm leaving the house.
Well, if I may, I'll just continue through the keys because that's really
Yes.
good. So what happens is once we treat, trust and release and let go of like, oh, this is a story I've been telling. Okay, trust and release, and now we're recording this podcast. Then we have to say, okay, what is it? Why was I
Hmm.
doing that? Right? Like honesty, just self-honest appraisal. And I don't mean like we put our foot on our neck and we choke ourselves. Not at all. It's not a beating up exercise.
Hmm.
It's just oh, I love myself enough to really listen to myself to see what I'm saying. Because I've been brilliant at not listening to myself and just saying everything's fine. What?
Well,
Everything's
fine is the true four-letter F word. Fine. Everything's fine.
yeah, right. And then usually what I find is some things that I need to shed and let go of. And in that space, I can listen deeper
Hmm.
once I've done some shedding and trust intuition of like, okay, here's what I'm supposed to do. And then we're in key 10, which is take aligned action.
I'm waiting for 11 too.
Okay. Well, this is 11's maybe my favorite key. It's love and service. And we end up doing these things. We
Mm.
end up doing these creative acts. We end up going through this healing so that our well is full and we can give to others
Hmm.
and be in that connection with one another instead of the disconnection. And then through that, by listening to the gifts, by saying, oh, here's what my soul is really calling me to do and to create, even if it's just living a daily creative life, which might mean like mixing up what you're cooking at night. I don't know. Like it could mean anything for
Hmm.
you. And you're doing it from a place of love and service. Then we awaken and we say, oh, this is why my soul was calling this to me, because now I'm even more of myself than I was before I started,
Hmm.
which is key 12 awakening.
Just
Yeah, it
letting it
feels
all.
good.
Yeah, it's all good. And you totally just answered my next question, which I didn't think you were going to answer,
What's
which is
that?
what is your favorite key? Because it's like asking which is your favorite child.
Oh,
I didn't ask you your favorite
I
child.
wouldn't answer that. I can't. They're both so amazing. Um, it is love and service because often I can get stuck or like not do something or want to procrastinate or have perfectionism and all those isms.
Hmm.
But if I can look to key 11 and say, you know what, if I can just get out of myself and get out of self-centered fear and get out of the burden of self and self-absorption and think about doing this as an act of love and service because someone needs it, then I tend to move forward.
Hmm.
Um, it's almost like a pill for self-pity.
Mm. So by pointing it out to impact on others, it acts as kind of a catalyst for you.
Yeah, I'll explain more, just a personal story. I really like I went through this huge change from a tech entrepreneur to a transformational coach. But that was not just like one day I booped over. It took me 3 years to accept that that was what was for me and
Hmm.
what was calling me. And it took so many layers for me to identify. That's how I actually came up with the creative keys because I was like, I'm not a guru, I'm not a coach. I don't even like that word.
Hmm.
which is so funny now because like that's how I define myself,
Hmm.
as you do, right? And but I was like, but I had so many limiting beliefs about that word and misperceptions, and so I had to go through this whole spiritual transition in order to prepare myself to be able to say that. And
Hmm.
I did those things. And then my friend Avery, who's like this great young TikToker, she owns a ski hill in Montana. She like would just go on and say, "I'm Avery from Montana, and I run a ski hill, and I'm a mom of two." And all of a sudden, they have international travelers to this little mom and pop ski hill in the central Montana. And she was like, you have to start going on Instagram and start telling your story because people need your story. So I don't
Hmm.
care if you've, I'm a filmmaker, so I've always been behind the camera.
Hmm.
She's like, I don't care if you've been behind the camera, go in front of the camera so that people can receive your message. And I was like, right. Right. And
Hmm.
so that gave me the courage to be able to transition from a behind the scenes, I'm just going to stay back here and not talk about my truth, to be able to go forward and be public facing. And it was really Key 11 that gave me that courage. And now I'm finding like so much benefit from it. And it's like no big deal. Like it's almost
Hmm.
embarrassing to say that I didn't want to call myself a coach, or I didn't think that I was spiritual, or that I should share it with anyone else, because so many great things have happened. I've been able to
Hmm.
witness that in other people's lives. And I'm like, ugh, biggest gift of my life was just saying yes to the calling.
Yeah. Well, I think so much of what you're talking about and where people's hangups are is just defining what does that mean to you? Like that's why I started, what does creativity mean for you? Like how do you define it? Because we could have had an entire conversation assuming creativity meant two different things.
Absolutely.
And what one person defines as transformation could be totally different. Do you know that actually corporate is now bastardizing transformation? They're using it, HR transformation, to lay people off. I was like, don't take away my transformation. Don't do it. Um, but in that, how we describe ourselves becomes the story that gets put out there. Like no one else writes your story better than you, but yet we allow other people to like put these very strong definitions and boxes and things like that. And once you realize that you are the maker and creator, creativity of that brand, of that message, of that power, it then becomes an open door for other people who you want to invite in to come in. But if you stay inside your house and you don't give people your address, you can't expect them to show up.
Mm, right. What do you think it takes for someone to shift from this to that? Like that transformation in your practice and in your coaching, what do you see people experience to be able to be all of themselves and admit that?
There has to be a breaking point. Like, and I hate to say that because it's like I don't want people to feel like, oh, I have to go through something really hard, but there has to be this like I've had enough moment of like this shit is so hard that like I'm not willing to be miserable one more day. I'm not willing to have, you know, digestive issues, to be in an unhappy relationship, to be miserable in my career. Like I know that I'm meant for more, but what I'm doing isn't working. So I think it's this acceptance of like I am stuck and clearly I'm the maker and creator of my own misery. So it's the ownership of it. Like that's my own story. Like I was in an unhappy marriage, job situation, house, like whatever it was, but I had made it about everything else. Like if I just get a new job, or if I just sleep better, if I just eat better, if I just keep working out more, everything will get better. And it was like once I realized it was what I was saying inside and what I felt like I was worth, until that started to shift, nothing else was going to change because I was eating up leadership books and self-help books. Listen, I don't even think podcasts were a big thing back then in 2015. But anyway, I was like looking outward for people to give me the right answers. And it would work for like 2 weeks where I'd be like, yes, I'm so inspired. I'm doing these 5 things. But it wasn't until it was like, and who are you? And who are you now, or who are you becoming? So it's not until, this is a very long answer to your question. It's not until people are ready to stop doing and start being.
Mm,
Because you will have excuses out the wazoo. You will come up with every single like reason why it's not for you, or why it's too hard, or why you can't. And it's like, so tell me how you can. Tell me how you're going to. And I think it is creativity. It's like once you're ready to create a new pathway and a new life for yourself, we teach this whole framework on future self design, once you can step into that space, and that could be 5 minutes from now, 5 days, 5 years, 5 decades, until you can imagine, get your senses kicked in, it's all external messaging. So it's really about listening to your inner voice and sitting in silence and doing nothing to become.
Which brings us back to like, is everyone creative? Yes, we come out that way, just in our being who we are.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
And when your clients go through this transformational work, what is it that you see in their life
Oh,
happen?
it's like it's everything. Like they they're lighter in everything that they do. They're most of them are leaving their jobs or leaving relationships. Um,
That's
but
why they're here.
that's why they're here. It's but they're taking ownership and they're not afraid. They it's not that they're reckless, but they don't allow the fear and the risk to stop them. They're very calculated in that they understand second, third, fourth order effects. They're thoughtful, they're more present, they're just more aware of things outside of just their purview. And so like people like them again. They like themselves again. Their health improves, their teams improve. Like it's just the ripple out effect that they're like, this person just came up to me and said like they noticed a change in me. I had no idea. And it's like, of course you have. But I always tell them I know when the shift happens because I get an intuitive hit where like the hair on my arm raises, and I'm like, it's coming.
And is it on your right arm?
hmm
Uh-huh. And when you went through that inner transformation, what happened in your life?
Everything. Everything. Yeah, so I was like a serial entrepreneur, like had my first business as 12, like was just always busy doing, going. And I had a career in association management and I became an executive director at 22. So I was just like faking it all the time and just like not sleeping well, was drinking a ton, was just like I was a mess, but like I had the face and I got married to this guy who like was the beefcake and he lost his job and I like held on to everything and like made it work and we moved to Las Vegas and opened all this stuff and I was just like I'm so miserable, but I can't tell anybody. And so I was like just covering it up with exercise because I was over exercising but also eating like garbage and drinking. So, and I was like sleeping in 3 hour chunks.
Mm.
And I hit a breaking point where like I blacked out at an event I was running and the hotel staff found me and pulled me out. None of my staff knew, and my boss was actually there. But it was like this wake up call of you are going to lose everything if you don't get your act together. And that was the point where I hired a coach, changed my life. I got certified as a coach. And then within 6 weeks, I got divorced because I was like, I found my path, I found my purpose. And he's like, well, don't think you're going to quit your job. And I was like, what? And all these other things started to come out where I was just like, we are not aligned. This is not working for either of us. And so I ended up getting divorced within 6 months of that, moved back to DC. And 6 months from that point, in between that, I got certified as a coach. And then quit my job 6 months after that and said I would rather be broke and happy than have a job and knowingly make myself miserable. And it was a lot of struggle. You talk about the 3 year part, like I was putting my rent on my credit card and had no clients, didn't know what I was doing. And then it started to click together where I started to build community and build out multi coach contracts and things like that. And then started to teach out after I became a master certified coach. So it's just been, I don't know if this was even answering your question, but it's not just one thing, but it's like once you know, you can't unknow. And like it's when you know and then you go against it, it's more painful than when you didn't know before
Yeah,
and you just knew you were uncomfortable. But now it's like, oh, I'm doing this to
right,
myself.
right. It's like that. It's key 12. It's the allegory of the cave. It's like once you see it, you can't unsee it.
No. And like when you feel yourself going back in there, you're like, no, 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 I don't want to go back in.
Right, right. And when you think of that huge transition from your oh my God to your knowing to action, how did creativity play a role in that in your life?
Oh, I painted so much. Like I had a 5 bedroom house all to myself because I thought I was going to have all these kids. Didn't happen, but I turned one into a studio. I actually started painting and like was like meditating while I was painting and people were buying my art. Like it was wild. Yeah, and I was writing and journaling and like I know that like I'm on the verge of something when it's just like a constant flow out of just either throwing paint or like putting words on paper. But yeah, It's just combining concepts and like letting new things pop out and like seeing nature.
And how did that creativity serve your spiritual journey to the new you, the more become you?
Well, so I already knew, like, I already had the formulation of it because in that creation was always a visioning of myself. So I would write to myself in the future, like a year from now. So it was literally just setting up neural pathways of like, oh yeah, that's right there. Let's go. And so it was just trusting myself to make those decisions for that future version of myself.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was wild. Like so me and creativity, like I lost it for so long because it was always about like the manual process or what I was expected to do. It always hurt my heart like when I couldn't create. And so to get that back, like that was the first thing like when my ex and I split, I was like, I can paint. And I'm sure that he would have been fine with me painting all along, but I didn't have any of that like energy around it.
Right. Right. You didn't have like a I can and I
No, it was
will.
like
I
I
need to.
must.
I
I
must. I must.
must. Is that what it
Yes.
feels like for you? Like, is your creative energy like I must, or is there a different like verb that you think about it?
Hmm.
Is
Yeah.
must even a verb?
Should. Like I should do this.
Should.
Because I can have a lot of like ideas, right?
Hmm.
And in a day. And so I don't go down all those rabbit holes because it'd be way too ADD and I wouldn't get anything done. But when something like latches on and says, "No, this is for you,"
Hmm.
it's like I should do that. Oh, I can do that. Oh, back to your word, I must do that. In
Hmm.
fact, there's no way it's ever gonna let me go until I do it.
What does that entity feel like?
Oh my God. It is like something that never leaves. One of my favorite books, me and the boys, is What Do You Do with an Idea? Have you ever read this?
Mm.
You have to get this for your child.
Okay.
And an idea just starts like it's visually just as a seed and it just grows and grows and grows and grows until you don't ignore it. And then everyone has this light and this beauty. And that's what it feels like. It's like it's like pecking. It won't go away. I'm going to sleep with it. I'm dreaming about it. I'm waking up with it. It's all day, every day until I say yes to the calling.
Hmm.
That's how I know something is really for me. And also doors open in order for it to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if it's just like a good idea that I really should not follow down that path very long, then it'll eventually just kind of dissipate.
Hmm. Yeah. I've noticed a lot, like a lot of my stuff was very impulsive. Like
Mhm.
go now, go now, go now. In Colby, they call it the quick start, where, and my number one strength is generate. No, it's not generate. It's relator and human design. I'm a generator. So literally, I'm around people and I was like, let's do the thing now. And so, in maybe it's maturity, getting older, or just being very thoughtful about how I spend my time, I now let it sit and marinate to be like, how does this stack up with everything else I'm doing? And so
Yeah.
part of me is like, am I trying to adult my creativity or should I just be a little impulsive again?
What are the stakes?
There are none. It's like,
Yeah.
it's your time. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Just do
fine.
it. Just do it. Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm,
Right.
going on a work bender and be like, I'm not doing any work ever again.
Like, oh, this is just writing for 5 minutes or whatever it might be. I mean, I was a documentary filmmaker, and then I started this platform called AudPop, which was for filmmakers like me
Hmm.
in 2013, and we got a lot of good work done, but I stopped creating personally. I mean, I created a tech platform for people
Right.
to advance their careers, filmmakers, but I had stopped creating. And what brought me back to creating, I had this advisor, and she was like, "You really need to read The Artist's Way
Hmm.
by Julia Cameron." I was like, "Yeah,
Yep.
yeah." And finally, like the third time she told me, I was like, "Okay." But also, I had the something needs to change.
Hmm.
And then I became willing to read it. So I picked it up and read it and just kind of went through myself. But just writing morning pages like opened up something in me that had shut down because I had
Hmm.
become this tech entrepreneur who's out raising money. And I felt like I had to look a certain way and talk a certain way
Hmm.
and be a certain way and kind of have that emperor energy and not be soft because only 2% of venture capital goes to women. And so I better be like the
Hmm.
other 98% instead of just realizing it was misaligned. That came later. But anyway, the morning pages opened me up to creating again.
Hmm.
And And so I started making films again. And that was just awesome. You know, like low stakes, creativity, doing what I love. It's like, yeah, I love telling people stories or helping them tell their own story.
Hmm.
And so then I found more joy in my work life because I was doing this thing that I love on the other side.
Yeah, I feel like there's something that happens like in the entrepreneurial space or of being someone who is in a place of service where you get that first initial hit of I'm helping people, I'm doing this, and then it gets dialed up out of control to the point where our focus is only on other people and we forget to really take care of that part of ourselves that was like why we fell in love with it in the first place. And I was just thinking about I do an innovation mindset for diverse owned small businesses as part of like an incubator series. And the first part is helping them reconnect to their passion story on why they started their business.
Mm,
And they forget it. They forget it. They're so bogged down in the day to day and, generating revenue and making payroll and, market share. And it's like, if you don't connect with what like generates energy and motivation from you beyond just making money, like it's not sustainable.
right. Yeah. If you're not finding joy anywhere,
No.
it's just burnout.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, what brings you joy in doing this? And if it is about making money, what does that provide for yourself, for others, and like reconnecting to the deeper meaning behind it?
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people just get lost. I was curious. So the book hasn't come out yet. When is it coming out?
This month, September, I
Ah,
mean, not
September.
August, September. Yeah.
Well, when this comes out, it'll be September, so we'll be
Yeah, yeah,
good.
yeah. Okay,
Um,
great.
what do you envision being the most challenging key for people?
That is a great question. So I have two quizzes people can take. One is what is your superpower, your creative
Hmm.
superpower? And then one is what is your stretch key? And so each
Mm.
person has a different stretch key. I mean, there's going to be a group of people who are like great at taking action, and there's going to be a group of people who are like not so great at trusting intuition,
Mm.
or courage to move forward. Sometimes is a hard stretch key. Like that
Mm.
that ends up being a place where they need a lot of help. I find that women are really good at key 11 of love and service because it's how we've been taught, it's how we've been
Hmm.
trained. And so it really depends on the person and the stories that they hold about themselves about what is the hardest key. And we all have different strengths. And I mean, that's why teams are great.
Yes, if it's the right one.
Right.
It's a whole other podcast topic.
Right. And what's cool is I do this leaders council group.
Hmm.
And so we all take the quizzes and then we talk about how actually our superpower and our stretch learn from one another. Can
Mm.
work hand and walk hand in hand together to get us where we're going in whatever it is of why they've shown up in that council or shown up coaching with you. Like something needs to change. And it's
Mhm.
like we put those two together and say, okay, let's work together. It's almost like, courage doesn't mean, of course, the absence of fear. It's just acknowledging the fear and moving anyway.
Absolutely. Keeping it moving. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Doing it anyway. So
Doing it.
if people want to snag your book, where should they go?
It'll be on Amazon. My website is paigewilliams.co. It'll be on there.
Fabulous. Fabulous. And if you had to share a nugget with our listeners, any nugget, it could be related to creativity or anything else that you want them to just keep in their pocket, what would you say?
You are wildly and deeply loved.
Hmm. I'm
And
just
if we
putting my
believe
hand on my heart
that,
right now.
if we believe that and know that, not believe it, know it,
Hmm.
then everything is ultimately okay, regardless of the crazy out here. Because inside I know that.
Love it. Paige, this has been amazing. I feel more creative. Like I've got like 30 minutes until I got my next call and then I got daycare pickup. I'm like, can I
Fun.
go buy a canvas and
Have some fun.
go have some fun? Or I might go journal. I'm gonna go write actually.
Yeah.
But this was wonderful. You should absolutely go check Paige out. We'll have all of her links in our show notes. And to all of our Spitfires out there, keep being awesome.